you did like a pretty smooth transition, I would say, because you'd already bought your house while you were in, right? And your family was settled in, and then you just
Yeah,
kind of had to move in.
we bought our house May of 2020. This is right all when all the COVID stuff was happening, so that was a pain in the butt. But
Oh yeah.
we I got permission to take a leave, and I moved most of our stuff and my wife and my one kid at the time down here in June. Then I turned around and went. I was here for like a weekend. I turned around and went right back for 3 months or so by myself.
Hmm.
This was paying for rent on one place and then the house.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Luckily not for long, but yeah. And did your wife did she start working like right away? She had something lined up?
I don't think she did. I think she found something shortly after. But the thing is, with my salary, we knew we had time.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Yeah.
like 5 months, a good 5 months before I would stop getting paid essentially.
I wasn't planning to work, so I wasn't trying to find jobs when I was, in my last months, and I didn't buy a house or anything like that. My plan was just to travel. So I got out like around Thanksgiving 2 years ago. And so I was just home for Thanksgiving, home all the way through Christmas. And then I went and started traveling in Mexico and Asia and elsewhere until COVID put an end to that.
I've talked about the Marine Corps in a few of my videos.
Mm-hmm.
Some seriously, some not so serious. That one I made about top 5 things I'm gonna miss about the Marine Corps, and it was just like,
Yeah.
it's all a joke, right? But
It's like being miserable in the field. Was it that? It's like sarcastic kind of.
no, it was. You might not have watched it because not very many people did. But all I did was talk about the pay. That's all I did. That's all. The 5 things were just like the money is the only thing I'm gonna miss at the time.
Oh, yeah, I guess I haven't seen that one.
No, I don't. I thought it'd be like popular, but like nobody watched it. So
Yeah, back to the transition thing a little bit. Have you tried job searching, or like have you not even, you just knew you were going to be stay-at-home dad? And
like what we're doing right now is what we had planned for like
yeah.
probably like 2 years.
Okay, that's cool.
That I was gonna get out at the end of my contract, and that my wife was going to be the main breadwinner and have the career type job, which is what we both wanted. Because she got her master's degree when we were in when I was in, and just paid out of pocket for that. And it was pretty expensive online out of state. So I mean, we got that paid for, and she never had a chance to pursue her career because of me, like
Yeah, moving around all the time. And
yeah, it's just hard. Some spouses they can find, like, if they're like teachers or something, they can, get jobs from place to place.
teacher or nurse, those are the two military spouse jobs that
Yeah, stuff like that. But like, or if they just like work in like side job things like Lowe's or whatever, like Walmart or whatnot, which is nothing wrong with that. But that's easily transferable.
Yeah.
Especially with the military. A lot of if you're a military spouse, I'm sure a lot of employers they're not hard on you. Like if you want to move or switch stores or something. Her degree and stuff is very like it's more specific. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything that we planned for like 2 or 3, pretty much kind of since I DOR'd from flight school.
Oh yeah, that was when
Like, that's like one of the reasons I was like, we don't want to stay in for long term, and
yeah,
if we get out, then you can pursue your career. Otherwise, it's going to be all about me, and you're going to be miserable for 8 years or whatever, 10 years.
I was surprised, having just spent my adult life in the Marine Corps, basically, how hard it is to get a job. Like, and everyone warned me that TRS, they're all like, you have to have your resume and you have to practice interviews, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I've been a captain in the Marine Corps. Like, this will be easy. But it really is like, until getting my job, I probably submitted, I don't know, 200 plus resumes to various places and interviewed like a handful of times. And it really was hard, which was like eye-opening.
It's interesting too now. Like everyone talks about like labor shortages.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like everyone's hiring, and I can't find anything. Like, what's going on?
So it's like, well, I mean, so I guess like there's just labor shortages in certain like markets.
Yeah.
And I think the markets are those markets that are lower entry level positions, like at restaurants and shops and stores and stuff. So like, as me, I keep my LinkedIn profile up to date. And like, it's got all my past stuff. And I've had one recruiter reach out to me since I've been out. And I was like, no, thank you. whatever. But nobody's like coming to knocking on my door asking me to work for them.
And that's what I thought. That's what I'd kind of like been told. Like you're a junior officer. Everyone wants you. You're like management experience, but yeah, it's
that's a good lesson because like yes, veterans get preference sometimes, but like only if it's like if you're like applying for like a store job like Lowe's or
like a corporate job,
upper level like good. I don't know what like desk jobs. Like nobody gives a shit that you're in the military.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in the Marine Corps specifically. Like obviously you have to have an honorable discharge, but like it doesn't always say much about you. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Just that.
It's funny you say that because like you think like I'll find a job, but it's not easy. I mean, it took my wife a long time to find the good job she has now, and like we're not getting like rich by no means.
That's why I wanted to talk about this. And then there was a guy in my unit who was like an education officer or whatever. And so he knew about all the programs like DoD Skill Bridge. You know that one?
Yeah, Skill Bridge,
Yeah, he did that. And so he got an internship with like a really good company. He just took his transition really serious. He started like years out, had a great job like the day he left active duty. Whereas I was just like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go travel.
But yeah, that Skill Bridge program is excellent because you can take your active duty time and essentially go learn a trade. Something you have to pay for out of pocket, but that's your appointed place of duty. You don't have to work when you're doing that.
And a lot of times, I guess they get hired on. Like if they're doing it with Microsoft or whoever, they just end up rolling into a full-time job afterwards.
Yeah, I think the placement rate is very high. Like they're going to find you a job if you're willing to like relocate anywhere. Yeah, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but like that's what like if you're enlisted, especially because if you're enlisted and you get out of your first term, you take so much shit by like when you go like check out with the sergeant major. You're not gonna be able to come back in, and why do you want to get out? I don't know better myself, sergeant major. Why'd you stay in? Because it was easy and you got paid automatically.
Yeah.
Twice a month. No, it's not always true, but
I have a couple of friends who say that. Like there's this one guy I did an exercise with. He was a Navy pilot. He's like, I'm gonna do 20 years because it's easy. I was like, you're honest. That's awesome. Nobody else said. A lot of people will be like, I just want to serve and protect my country. I want to, devote myself to a higher mission or whatever. And the honest answer is most people are just like it's easy. My healthcare is taken care of. Like I get a paycheck and
not necessarily easy, but if you enjoy it,
and
you're not miserable. Like
it's
you might as well stay in.
It's stable and like stressful. I definitely don't want to like undersell how hard most people in the military work. It's you know what you have to do, when you have to do it, what career courses you have to take and what training you have to do, and very clear-cut path. And like what kind of responsibilities you'll have as an 03 versus an 04. Like,
especially for officers, like the career path is pretty laid out. Like
get career des at this time, and then do your B billet, and then
so this kind of goes into like starting out. In order to be an officer in the Marine Corps, you have to have a bachelor's degree. So you have to either be working towards your bachelor's degree or already have it. And there's multiple different paths to becoming an officer, right? So the first thing you do is you go to OCS, which is Officer Candidate School, which is like boot camp for officers. There's multiple different programs of that. There's 2 6-week courses. There's 1 6-week course if you're ROTC, and then there's the 10-week. Did you do 10-week?
I did 6-week ROTC.
Okay, so you did like seniors.
Yep. Equivalent to seniors.
So I did both. I did PLC. I did juniors and seniors. So I had to go back to OCS twice, which sucked.
Yeah. That's terrible.
The second time you're like, I gotta deal with this bullshit again.
It's coming, and you're like, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna get yelled at. I'm gonna have to do drill.
Well, it's a detriment because some people are like, I just don't want to go back, so they don't do the program.
Yeah.
Then after OCS, you get your degree, or if you already have your degree, you get commissioned, which means you become a second lieutenant. And then your active duty. See that doesn't start your active duty time. Your active duty time starts when you start TBS, which is the basic school, which is 6 months of platoon leader, field infantry type training. It's 6 months of training and bullshit. It's fun, but it sucks too. You're in the field a lot, depending on the weather.
In the classroom a lot.
You have the troll field FEX stands for field exercise. Yeah, patrol FEX, and then we had, I think, 3 like squad, platoon. I don't remember, and then like mount. So we had like 4 or 5 field exercises. So like a TBS will spend, I would say, at least a month and a half of your 6 months in the field. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think so. And
Maybe
then
less.
and then a lot of day, like just like rifle range and stuff like that, where you're
Yeah.
like outside all day.
Yeah.
Land nav, all that kind of stuff. So probably like a third of the time you're like doing field stuff, whether you're like actually in the field, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. It's doing that stuff it's fun, but I think for me at the time, I had a family, so like when it got around like 5-6 o'clock, and we were still sitting around waiting to be released for the day.
Oh man, I can't imagine, because I was 22. I was 22 and single. I was living there, like not a big deal. But I can't imagine, like, I don't have kids, but even at 29, which there was a lot of people in my platoon that were 29, 30, even like 33 years old. I just can't imagine hiking 15 miles right now. Like, I could do it, but I would just be like, it would suck.
I think physically I could do it again, but like I couldn't deal with like the
bullshit,
the platoon stuff, and just like, like the billets. But then after TBS, you're an air contract, you'll go to Pensacola and start flight school.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a ground contract, you'll go to whatever your MOS is, whatever your job is, school, and do that. And then you'll go to the fleet afterwards. When you're in the military, you don't really have that much control over your life. You can't like choose where you can request where you want to go, but you can't choose it. My experience has been like, it's a lot easier if you're single.
Yeah. 100%.
I think it just is like, there's guys like, I'm sure you knew some like prior enlisted guys who were married and had kids, and like, they were in it for the long run.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their lives were like, but I'm just like, their wives have to like watch the kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're away. And the guys that are really into it, like, I think they put the Marine Corps before their family sometimes. They're just like, well, sorry, I got to go do this thing.
Yeah. And then the attitude of most like chain of commands is like, you signed up for this. This is the Marine Corps, like you gotta go. Which, yes, fine, that's true, but that doesn't make it suck less, and there is a high rate of divorce in the military.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's high. And I think that's because a lot of young guys, like enlisted guys, they get married.
Yeah, there's probably the opposite, where it's like you're stationed in Okinawa, you have a local girlfriend, and you're like, oh, I just got my PCS orders. The only way you can come with me is if we get married, and here we are.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was enlisted for 4 years, and I was in the band field.
What advice would you offer to somebody that heading into OCS?
OCS and or boot camp? I mean, that depends who you are. Like if you're
maybe it's not so obvious to some people.
So the difference between like recruit training, which is like the typical boot camp for enlisted guys at Paris Island or San Diego, that's where the Marines go. So they're both like boot camp, but they're very different at the same time. OCS is for officers, boot camp, recruit training is for enlisted guys. And if we're talking like somebody who's like either like 19 out of high school going to boot camp, or like a 22, 23-year-old like yourself, right, going to OCS, who just graduated college or is in college, kind of the same thing. I mean, pieces of advice: just do what you're told.
Well, I'll give you my answer that I was thinking about. Number one is maximize the sleep time. Like, sleep every minute you get, in those 8 hours at OCS.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of counterintuitive, but like all the best candidates in my platoon were the ones who were like, they finished their stuff during the day, like they did their studying, did all their like cleaning and marking their gear, and then they were asleep by lights out. The people who like sleep deprived themselves like suffered in everything they did. Second one is eat oranges at the chow hall so you can avoid getting sick, get vitamin C. But
well, there's so many little details you forget because you want to forget, and it was such a long time ago. For me, boot camp was 2007.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
And OCS was 2015 for seniors. See, I don't know if this is the case anymore, but at boot camp, like, you are forced to sleep. Like, you're not supposed to get out of the rack.
Yeah, so that's taken care of at boot camp. Yeah.
But that may have changed. I don't know for sure. Unless you got Firewatch, which is like 1 hour. So you're gonna get at least, if you have Firewatch, you're gonna get at least like 6 hours of sleep. in boot camp. But at OCS, like they don't care. As soon as like
Yeah.
lights out, like everyone hops out of their rack.
And
to,
that's
like,
your free time to like take care of anything you have to take care of.
study, mark your gear, remark your gear, do laundry. Laundry was always a hassle. What I did at OCS is I slept first because everyone else was doing all their things, and I got up at like 3 when nobody was up to do my stuff.
That's smart.
That's what I did. And like you're so tired, I just like passed out.
Yeah, I know. Sleeping's no problem there.
I will say that between boot camp and OCS was much harder, at least for me, because of the lack of sleep and the physicality of it.
Yeah.
Boot camp physically wasn't that hard. Maybe it was just because I was younger, but like at OCS, you do so much more. Like the endurance course, you do the O course so much more. It's just hard on you.
There's nothing that's like by itself is difficult, like getting yelled at or taking a test or any of the like components of OCS, but the thing that you can't appreciate until you've done it is the lack of sleep, how it makes like everything harder and more stressful and like makes you worse at it. And
yeah, you're just like drunk all the time.
That's why my key piece of advice is like get every moment of sleep that you can and you'll be a lot better off.
This is more for boot camp, but if the drill instructors are messing with you, it's not because you guys did anything wrong. It's because there's time to kill before the next event. That's all they have to do. So it's like just wait it out. It'll pass before you have to go outside and march to your next thing.
Because do you not have a schedule or anything in boot camp that you can see? You have no idea what's coming. Like
no, you have no idea. Yeah, at OCS you're kind of like you can be like kind of in charge of things, especially towards the latter part. Yeah, they'd
give a schedule to the platoon leadership, and then they'd like let the platoon know.
Right. Yeah. But in boot camp, it's just like your job is to listen and follow orders. You can still think, and make decisions at certain times, but like, yeah, you're not told anything. You don't know what's going on. It's crazy. One thing, like, you don't get like abused or anything. You don't get hit or anything like that.
You came in as like a band contract, right? Enlisted? I'm assuming that was something would you do that again, or did you have any desire? Do you ever wish you'd been like infantry or anything else?
I mean, the only reason I wish I would have done like something in infantry is so I could feel more like a badass, but like, because it's kind of like, I was a Marine, but like I was in the band, so it's like, I don't.
Yeah,
I never claimed to be Rambo. So
yeah, as far as like the badass scale, that's like lower than the air wing even.
That's a super pogue.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's still the Marine Corps. You're still a Marine, but you're doing a very specific skill set that a lot of people can't do. Like thinking about the band is like most Marine Corps jobs I could learn in like 6 months. You couldn't learn my job in 6 months.
Yeah.
Unless you were like really gifted at playing an instrument. I had a good experience and I was enlisted.
And then what about as an officer? Were you happy with your MLS or?
No, I wasn't. Like
no.
it's
Lago and supply officer are like great for a whole bunch of careers.
Yeah, I got that on my LinkedIn. I got all my stuff I did as a Lago, but I don't know. I guess nobody wants to hire me.
Yeah, but if you apply for like a supply chain, role,
you're right. So, I haven't applied to one job because I haven't needed to.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to work for
piece of shit.
If you wanted to work for like Amazon or something, you could probably. Amazon's hiring like everybody right now, so they'd probably love to have someone with apply or logistics management experience and stuff.
Let me go back to that. I said I'm a lazy piece of shit because I'm a stay-at-home dad. Being a stay-at-home dad has broke me physically more than 8.5 years in the Marine Corps. It has, because like you got to like wrestle your kids and like pick them up and change them, and like it's weird. Like I got like tinnitus in my elbows after I got out.
From holding kid?
Tinnitus? No, tendonitis. Tinnitus is the ear thing.
Oh yeah, right.
Tendonitis, it's like it's exhausting. It's like because you got to get up super early, and but the difference is I like it. I like doing it. So
right, yeah.
It's a lot of work, awesome. But like almost like mentally and physically, it's like kills you.
That's what I've heard. Like you're just more exhausted than makes sense after like a few hours of dealing with
than just like sitting at a desk all day.
Yeah, because that's what the Marine Corps ends up being. you have this idea it's gonna be like all badass stuff, but it's mostly office work typically.
Yeah, it's a lot of Outlook and PowerPoint.
Yeah, Outlook.
And I think that only gets worse as you get higher. You have to deal with the dumbasses that get DUIs and sexually assault other Marines, and that's like, oh man, if you're a CO, that's like half your day is dealing with that shit a lot of times.
And it comes up anytime, like the worst times, like you got company inspection coming up or something, and you gotta, or squadron or battalion inspection, and then
yeah, like
now deal with the latest
CGRI or BASMO or what, all those different inspections. If you're an officer, you'll have command investigations, which is fun because you're supposed to only do that until it's done, but you just can't. Do you have those?
Exactly. Yeah. I got those. That's what I was getting at, is like, no matter what else you're working on, it's like, okay, well, now you also have this.
Fucking staff sergeants sending like naked pictures of like Lance Corporals, and you're just like, oh God. Just please get out of the Marine Corps.
In the Marine Corps, it's like everyone's responsibility.
Yeah, and that's good and bad.
Right. Yeah.
Because because like you have to be responsible for one another, but it is also a bad thing because it's like shit that you have no control over that people do in their off time. You're technically responsible for, or you got to deal with the 8-day briefs that go all the way to like the commanding general and then the headquarters of Marine Corps, those types of things for certain events. I will say that if you're in the Marine Corps or the military and you want to get out, like get out. Use your GI Bill. You've earned it. You go to college for free. They actually pay you to go to college. Like, take advantage of that. That's what I did. I got out after 4 years, got my degree, and then came back in as an officer. If I had to like overall say about my Marine Corps experience, would I do it again? Yeah, I would do it again. It's kind of given me the life I have now. I mean, I can't complain about that.
My advice for a 17 or 18-year-old would be the same advice for everyone, whether they're joining the Marine Corps or thinking about going to college or whatever. It would be to take a gap year and go like travel, see the world, or I don't know, get worldly experience before you decide you're going to commit yourself to this path because that's the thing about the Marine Corps versus college is like you have to do your 8-year commitment, your 4 years active, and then 4 years IRR. So that's like a significant amount of time. If you hate 4 years of your life, like doing this college, you can enter it, drop out. I just think more people in general should have more like life experience before they pick a career path to just launch blindly down.
This would be a disagreement, but I would say that if you're not sure what to do with your life, instead of paying for a college degree that you're not sure you want to do or use, that's very expensive, join the military. It doesn't have to be the Marine Corps. If my son or daughter want to join the Air Force, I'd be like, hell yeah, because you're gonna guess what? You're gonna get paid the same. The E2 in the Air Force is gonna get paid the same as an E2 in the Marine Corps for probably a better job,
much higher quality of life.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because that actually does change my thinking based on the branch you're talking about. Change my thinking to think about different branches.
Like, don't get me wrong. If one of them wants to join the Marine Corps, like I'm gonna be super proud. It would be awesome and stuff. But you get guaranteed paycheck, a good job right after high school. You get health insurance that your parents aren't responsible for anymore. You get all the benefits.
It's really beneficial for everyone to get out of their hometown right away. Like it's uncomfortable, but that's the point. You gotta like get away from the friends you had for the first 18 years of your life and like set out on your own. And the military forces you to do that. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, get away for a bit. Get some different perspectives in your life.
Go get stationed at a few different countries, and
because that's the thing. It's like it's 4 years. And that's a long time, but it'll pass, and then you can either get out if you want. If you don't like it, you can stay in college for free. You have a lot of options if you join the military. And if you're smart, like the money is really not that bad. I was gonna say if you're single, but if you're married, you get BAH. So I don't know.
On paper, it's probably less than your civilian. Like when I got out of college, I remember some of my friends were making like double what I was as a second lieutenant, but I was probably saving more than them because of all like TBS. I wasn't paying for rent, whereas my friends that were making twice what I was were living in Seattle or New York City or
Right, yeah, cost of living.
So there's like $2,500 off the top right there just to pay their rent.
In the military, you have if you're married or have dependents, you get BAH, which is a monthly stipend that's not taxed at all based on your zip code, cost of living, and then you get BAS, which is like $300 some a month for food on top of your salary.
You can definitely save. And then if you go on like exercise or something, you're not buying anything. You're not eating out. You're not driving. Like saves up pretty quick.
Enlisted, if you're single, you'll live in the barracks. When I went to college and lived in a house, I was amazed I had to pay for my electric bill, gas bill, water. I was like, I never had to pay for these things before. The military takes care of it. You just
Right. Yeah, it's just easy.
you just got to deal with field day once a week or
Yeah. A sergeant
bullshit.
walking through your room.
Yeah, inspections. Just keep your room clean and you're golden. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. It's definitely like simple simple living in that sense. And you know what you have to wear, the uniforms, and
Yeah, I mean, I would say anybody who wants to join the military or the Marine Corps, or if they're eligible, you can always be disqualified for like stupid physical things or too old. But I would say do it. There's no reason not to. You know, based on your own personal situation. I would also, I just thought of this too. I'd also recommend if you're going to join like the Marine Corps, do a combat related MOS. Don't do like a support function. Be the support id, not the supportee. Do something like cool, like fucking infantry or artillery, or you know, if you're gonna join the Marine Corps.
that is probably the issue I keep coming back to in my thinking about like what I would have done differently.
I've been called a snowflake in the comments. Don't worry, for my Marine Corps videos. I'm just
I've
like,
seen
okay.
some, like I can't remember if it was the video where you destroyed the plaque or one of those videos where they were like, "You're a terrible Marine" or something like that. Someone in the comments.
To me, I'm just like, all right, whatever you say, man. I serve my country honorably. I mean, that's what my DD 214 says. So we had an EOD, I don't know if it was called a section or platoon. I think it was just an EOD section or battalion. And like, they always got to do like cool shit. They were always doing like ranges and blowing stuff up and things like that. It's just, that's like the cool stuff to me. Or I mean, like being a pilot, that was like, I would have been good at that. That's like one of those like specific, like cool things that you can do. A lot of the logistics supporting jobs is just like not as cool.
Less glamour than, not that the other ones are particularly glamorous, but less, less.
You always got these people who come up to you and like, yeah, cool. my cousin is a grunt in the Marine Corps. And you're like, good for him.
Yeah,
like
that is funny.
They say it like they're like, I'm badass because he's a grunt. I'm like, no, you're not. You just know him.
Yeah,
stop taking credit for them.
It's a weird thing how much people do that. Like, oh, my cousin's wife is a, you know, like is like some obscure connection. Like, I knew a Marine. I went to high school with me. I haven't talked to him in 20 years, but.
And that, you know, that Marine could be like a complete piece of shit too, like fat, like. You don't know. So
that is cool. It's that, like, unquestionably there's a lot of pride of having been a Marine. Like, it's not easy. It's definitely the hardest branch. The opposite of what I was just saying. People in the Air Force who are like, I would have loved to join the Marines, but I wasn't, you know, I was too fat or I was too whatever. The Marines wouldn't take me. So
I think after being in the Marines, like going to the Air Force would be like really hard. Me personally, like just like the lack of like discipline and stuff that you hear about, not getting proper greeting of the day, not like saluting. I think that stuff would just drive me nuts. Just that basic like Marine Corps stuff that you get into.
I was TAD to Air Force Base for 6 months, and exactly what you said, like no greetings of the day, no, like barely ever said sir, super relaxed environment, just like basically just like a civilian office, you know. And
which would probably be fine if that's where you started from, but to go from Marine to that would be like, oh man, I'd like lose my shit. I'd be like NJP court-martialed.
The good thing of being the office like stable environment was it was like 9 to 5, long lunch break. Like it was like super easy compared to the pace of a Marine Corps life.
And that's the thing too. I think officers get to do a lot of that kind of stuff that enlisted guys don't. We have the privilege to go on our own and go do different like jobs on our own by ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we can, you know, in general, we can be more trusted than a 20-year-old. That's why we're trusted to fly aircraft, you know, because even though we might only be like 23 or 24 years old, it's because we're just that little bit more maturity. Yeah, there's a statistic where 20-some% of all officers make it to 20 years, whereas like only like 7% of enlisted guys make it to 20 years.
Interesting.
Because it's just like, I wouldn't say it's easier being an officer, but it's a little bit more plush.
Yeah.
Lifestyle. It just is. Like, I don't care what branch. You get paid more, you get better housing in general. You know, you have more freedom. Like a young enlisted guy living in the barracks, like, you know, your life is dictated by, you know, your lance corporal, your corporal, your sergeant. Like, you don't have much freedom for those first couple of years. That's just the way it is. And that's all based on like how you do when you first start out. Like if you can prove yourself to be not a piece of shit and like, you know, you PT on your own and you look good in uniform and you show up on time every day and all that basic stuff, like you'll have it pretty easy. But if you're a little piece of shit, like you're gonna get stomped on pretty quick, which is how it should be.
Golden handcuffs of the paycheck get harder and harder to leave the higher you get. Yeah, like a senior captain or major, definitely going to be in the six figures and still got all the healthcare benefits and everything else. And hard to walk away from that for a lot of people. And then start, go to like pivot to go get an MBA or something to go into corporate America is difficult.
I was at six figures, a little more than that, just because of I had the 4 years enlisted, so I started out as an officer with 4 years, essentially.
Yeah.
So I started making more money off the bat, and now I'm making zero. Our household income like pretty much halved, which is it was just enough. I mean, it's fine, but getting that much money every twice a month, I'm like, geez, we have our mortgage paid off in like 3 years.
Wow, that would be incredible.
Just because we don't have the only debt we have is our house, and we don't have very many expenses really. But if I was in the Marine Corps, I wouldn't have this house, so.
Right.
Yeah. It's a give and a take. Why did you join the Marine Corps?
I was in Boy Scouts growing up, and one of my Scoutmasters was a Marine. He was just always telling stories, and when I was 17 years old, it sounded awesome. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I want to do that, and signed up and for ROTC, applied for actually, I was gonna enlist. I went through delayed entry program and everything, maps, all that. I had a boot camp date, but before I left for boot camp, obviously, I got the ROTC scholarship. And so the boot camp date went away. Did ROTC instead.
The ROTC scholarship is a good deal because they pay for college, right?
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is if you decide to quit, you have to pay that money back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good incentive to like keep going for sure.
Exactly. And that's
like, I don't want to do this after 3 years and you owe like 50 grand.
That's kind of like what I was getting at with like my statement earlier about being locked into a 4-year commitment, 21-year-old, like somewhere along the way I was like, I don't know if this is right for me, but I also don't want to just get hit with all my, student debt right now. Like that's the wrong reason to stay in, it should be like be a Marine and I want to like do good at my job and stuff, and leaving room to allow yourself to change paths, is really important, especially when you're young and you don't know anything about the world yet. But what you said is really has a lot of merit too. Like if you're just unsure, like the military will expose you to a lot of stuff, and you'll end up in a good place with that GI Bill and some savings and training, and
I enlisted fall of my senior year in high school with a band contract. I was gonna join the military since like the 9th grade, and I kind of gravitated towards the Marine Corps just because it's like the Marine Corps. Like, why would you want to join anything else, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't gravitate towards the band thing, being a musician, until like I started getting really good at my saxophone around my junior year. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna join the Marine Corps, I might as well do something I'm good at and I like. So that's what I did. It worked out for me. So yeah, I went to boot camp in San Diego, and then MCT, Marine Combat Training, and then MOS school, and then Okinawa for 2 years, and then Paris Island for 1, and that was my 4 years. Got out, went to school for free, got paid to go to school, and then came again as an officer. I will say though, the first week at TBS, I was like, I shouldn't have gotten back in.
Yeah, what have I done?
Because of the bullshit. I was like, oh my God, we're all at scoreboards again.
Yeah, that first week was rough.
Yeah, no, but there's so many benefits to joining the military, like especially out of high school, if you're single and you're not sure what to do.
Like I was telling you in one of our previous conversations, I did the vet tech program, which requires you have 1 day remaining of your GI Bill. I was getting BAH while I was doing that, the coding boot camp. Any veterans are watching this, go check out the vet tech program for coding boot camps. It's really, really a great program.
No, just peruse VA. Just peruse VA.gov. It'll tell you. It says everything you need to know about like all the benefits they have. VA is a big department of the federal government. You can if you have questions or want help with something, like the VA will help you out.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
And they've got so many programs and things. They'll in my experience do a good job of. I know there's a lot of complaints, a lot of issues, but
they've gotten better though, I think, and a lot of the employees are prior military too, so they know what's up. Yeah, and if you're getting out of the military, like you're like, oh, the VA, that sounds like lame. Like, no, take advantage of it because it's a well-funded. It's not perfect, nothing's perfect, but like there's a lot of benefits that they offer. Yeah,
and if you get disability, if you like hurt yourself or have PTSD, they got all sorts of resources for you.
VA home loan, a lot of people take advantage of that.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the bigger ones. Not great right now, and interest rates are already low.
Yeah.
But yeah, in other times that can be super beneficial.
I think I just thought of if you have a lot of problems as a civilian, the military is not going to fix that for you. FYI.
Yeah, that's true.
Either like Marine Corps boot camp will make you a better person, but it's not going to fix personality problems. Or if you're a piece of shit, you're not going to all of a sudden turn into a really good person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that is one of the promises they'll make you. Like, that's kind of what they sell you on, is like, it's gonna change everything about you. Yeah, it's gonna change your life. You're gonna come out as I remember the recruiters always say that, like, your friends aren't gonna recognize you, your parents aren't gonna recognize you, but at the end of the day, you're still who you were when you went.
Yeah, you'll just be a little different. It's not gonna solve all your problems. It can make them worse in some cases.
Yeah, it's not gonna solve your relationship problems. Probably gonna make them worse. Yeah.
Or getting married to another like Lance Corporal if you're 19.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can date them, go on dates, have fun, but don't get married. Just move out of the barracks.
Yeah. Don't marry the stripper you meet in North Carolina. Don't marry.
Classic cliche. Yeah.
Don't buy the brand new Camaro. What else?
Yep. Don't take out that 30% interest. Yeah, you'll have a $600 payment it's only for 6 years. Yeah.
And you're making $1,200 a month.
Yeah, you can afford it. Sure.
That's only half your paycheck.
Yeah, join the military if you want. It's good.
Yeah.
Good plan. That's the video. Yeah.
Get your GI Bill. Go see the world. Learn a skill. Join the right branch.
If you hate it, get out after 4 years.
Yeah. Join the right branch for you, for your particular personality, goals, everything like that. If you're like a type A fighter personality, join the Marine Corps.